So let's talk about taxes. This was supposed to be about high taxes. Am I right, Ben?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I think it was more than that. I think it was about taxes in general. And I think the majority of the people that were there knew exactly why they were there. They were there, and I took heat for not endorsing this enough. I had people saying, you're not promoting this enough. You're not telling people enough where it is. You're not getting behind this, and this was coming from conservatives. So I think it's pretty fair to say that this was not just orchestrated by, I think you're giving too much credit to Fox News Channel, to be honest with you. Okay. I think there's a lot of people that really wanted to go out there that have had enough. They just saw a massive budget come through.
Ben, I don't disagree with you. I think that there were people from, all walks of life who are out there and who are upset. And hey, you know what? If they're upset, like I said, you have the right to protest, but you should know what you're protesting. You saw that.
And they did.
But here's the thing. If you, by all accounts, if you look at everything that we have written, it says the U.S. falls within the lowest tax bracket of about only four other nations, four other large nations. We're at the bottom, and it's getting lower as the years progress. And under President Obama's new plan, the middle class will make out better than they did in the years before. So then,
well, again, that's a nice campaign statement from the Obama campaign. But
I'm not getting this. Hey, listen, hang on. I'm not getting this from the Obama campaign. This is all the research that we have done, and it says if you look at any of the tax research, we're at the bottom.
But I've got one piece of research. Where are the Bush tax cuts going to go? They're about to expire. Where are the things like the money that you'll inherit when your family passes away? They're about to expire. That does not help people in the middle class, and that is the untold story of this.
Okay, hang on, Ben. Yeah, I don't want to beat up on Ben because I'm not. Ben and I talk, and we're just having a discussion here, and I'm going to do the same thing with David. Let's let David throw it in. David, go ahead.
The point is that it's very strange to have an anti-tax protest when the President of the United States is proposing one of the biggest middle-class tax cuts in American history. It's also strange to protest after George Bush ran up some of the biggest deficits that this country has ever seen. During the Bush administration, polls showed that most people felt that their taxes went up because federal fees and middle-class taxes in many ways did go up. Who got the tax cuts of the Bush administration was primarily the very, very wealthy. So I understand the anger out there at the bailouts. I think that's a big issue for both sides. David, but anger at taxes is a little bit strange.
David, you bring up a very good point because if you look at, and a lot of the folks out there said that they were upset because of the, all of the bailouts and because of the stimulus and whatever.
And that's legitimate.
And that you can, if you're upset with that, you can protest against the Obama administration. But taxes, I'm not so sure on that. So let's bring in Ronnie Deutsch. Ronnie, where do we stand on taxes? What is the truth about taxes that our Americans have been paying the last couple of years, rising, falling, and compared to other countries?
Here's the issue. Taxpayers are intoxicated. We are paying federal tax, state tax, gas tax, property tax, sales tax. We'll be taxed when we breathe. So when you and I step back and think about that taxpayer who's out there protesting, they want tax reform. They're not saying to President Obama, hey, we don't think you're going to lower taxes for us. I think what they're saying is, I'm sick and tired of getting taxed to death when we're printing money and rewarding failure and mediocrity.
Absolutely.
Do you realize that 60% of the American people, small business owners like myself, we bear the burden. We are the people employing Americans. I want to see some great tax programs for small business owners. Don, what about the 30 to 40 million people who cannot even afford to pay the IRS? These are much larger issues than red and black.
Hang on. Ronnie, I heard that you were enthusiastic about taxes when we reached out to you, and you are. Thank you. I appreciate your energy and enthusiasm. But hang on. I want to know. Hold on, Ben. Everybody's going to get a chance here. But what I want to know, do we have that graphic, Jen, that we had that we made up? When you look at this is what taxes are spent on in the United States. Healthcare, 23%, Social Security, 21%, national defense, 19%, income security, 14%, interest on debt, 8%, and then when it goes down to veterans and what have you, it gets lower. It's like 3%. There you go, 3%, and then 5% for others. Now, as you look at the data, of course, everyone wants lower taxes. We get that. But if you look at the data, the taxes haven't gone up, though, Ronnie. So explain that to me, if you will. I want to know myself.
Here's the issue, Dawn. I think everyone agrees that we have to pay taxes, right? We need fire, we need police. But what are we getting for that money is the issue.
And that's, we showed what we're getting for that money, right? Do you realize how bad things are here in California?
Our criminal justice system is awful. Our roads are awful. Our schools are awful. What I'm saying to you is we're all about paying our fair share.
Right.
But we want some. And right now what taxpayers are seeing and why they're out there protesting, Dawn, it's simple. Why are we giving all this money to big business people? That's the perception.
Ronnie,
and perception is reality.
Let's go back to the tax state. And I think this is the one thing that people, the reason why you had people from both political spectrums show up is because they realized that something just happened. The deficit just went up drastically. We just literally made $1 trillion more and threw it out there. We're bailing out huge corporations, and this guy's saying, hey, I'm going to give you a tax break, and they're going, you know what? If you're going to tax the guys that employ me to death, I lose my job. That's the reason why this week the Obama administration said in Washington,
trickle down,
hold on.
Trickle down,
hey, you can say trickle down. It's a cute point, but you're missing the facts here.
We have been hearing this stuff for 30 years. Cut taxes on the wealthiest people in the country, and they'll benevolently be nice to all of us, all of the masses. Cut taxes on the super wealthy, and it will trickle down.
I go back to this point.
New talking
Why do we
points,
have
Ben.
more millionaires?
You got to get
Why
new
do we have
talking
more
points.
millionaires in America than any other country in the world?
Most recent polls show that the American public wants taxes raised on the wealthy.
Really?
That most Americans, the most recent Gallup poll shows that the public thinks the wealthy pay too little taxes. That's right.
Most
the
Americans
majority
want the
understand
American to be killed.
that the tax system is not fair and rewards the super wealthy. And
I go back to there's a reason why America.
You want to keep cutting taxes for zillionaires.
Hold on.
Everybody wants to keep cutting taxes for zillionaires.
There's a reason why America's the greatest country in the world, and that's because you actually can, and I believe.
Because we didn't used to cut taxes on zillionaires.
Hold on. Listen to what I'm actually saying, okay? My point is this about America. The reason why we're the greatest nation in the world and the reason why we have low taxes is because we actually, in this country, allow people to succeed and we don't tax them to death. Your mindset is if you make too much money, you should pay more, and that's what kills the American dream.
Okay, let me respond to that. I'll respond to that by saying, remember, our economy did the best, was the strongest, and grew at the fastest when the highest rate of taxes was over 70%. So your idea that slashing taxes for zillionaires is a way to build our economy is what got us into this economic problem.
All right, hang on, guys. We're going to let...
She's making the right point. I mean, the tax system is not fair right now. We do need tax reform. There is a tax gap. We're not collecting lots of taxes on the wealthy and on corporations. And I also want to say that I think that the protests, the part of the protests that had a lot of merit was, look, I'm a taxpayer, I'm a progressive, I don't like paying lots of taxes when our government is handing out trillions of dollars in bailouts. That is the fundamental problem here, not the tax rate.
Why are taxes going down and people are protesting?
Again, numbers don't lie, people do. Right now, our tax rates are, as you say, Don, the lowest they've been in a long time. But you and I know people look at the totality of the circumstances. It goes back to some of your quotes. We know we're paying a lot to the state. We know we're paying a lot in all sorts of other areas of our life for taxation issues. But you're right. Taxes are lower today. And what Obama has said really is true. So the fact that people are out there protesting, what I like about it is I want to see tax reform. I don't want to see 60% of Americans have to hire someone to do their taxes. I don't want to see 70% of Americans getting a tax refund. If we learn a little bit about tax and we make some very minor adjustments, I think we could save a lot of money and capture the $300 billion to $600 billion in the tax gap that's floating out to nowhere.
Okay, Ronnie, thank you. We're coming up on the end here, and I want to get everyone in. And Ben, I'm going to give you, Ben and I talk like this all the time, so don't think there's anything going on. Ben, I'm going to give you the last word, so I'm going to go to David. David, your final thoughts.
Well, I think there is a tax gap. I think tax simplicity, tax reform is important, but I think that a lot of people were out at these tea parties because they don't like the bailouts. They don't like where their tax money is going, and they don't like that it's going to huge corporations in a no-strings-attached kind of fashion. And as a progressive, I understand that impulse, and I applaud it.
Okay. Ben Ferguson,
I can't believe I agree with that completely. I think what this was about was the fact that people don't like where their money is actually being spent now, and they like that it makes them angry when they see these corporations get all of this money and they see these new budgets, which is a massive handout, yet in reality it's still not helping them that much at all. But these other companies, it's helping them a ton, and that's why you had people come out from both sides. That's why it was newsworthy.
See, so we can agree, Ben. We can agree on something.
So listen.